The All About Nothing podcast may have content and language that is not appropriate for some. Listener discretion is advised. Recorded live from GOT Sound Studio in Lexington, South Carolina. This is the All About Nothing podcast with Barrett Gruber, Trent Clark, me, the most attractive host, Zach King.
All right, welcome back to the All About Nothing podcast. I am Barrett Gruber, joined by Zach King, Trent Clark. Welcome, fellas.
Howdy, fellas.
We are back.
What an epic weekend that we had.
Oh, man.
We did.
You all haven't seen this yet, and here in a few days we're going to release it. But we did go to the venue this Sunday.
They made it, fellas. They made it.
Yeah, we watched we hung out and watched the whole review.
Yeah, man.
Paris LaFerris welcomed us.
Paris LaFerris.
Barrett and I had to dance. Trent
That seemed a little unfair.
Why?
Because
what?
First of all, I have social anxiety.
Well, yeah, me said she did too.
And I have social anxiety, and to have to, I don't have an issue with it. Wasn't a big enough crowd.
Yeah, I could have really, the song choice is really what I really saved you with, because I just gave you a manly Rich Homie Quan walkthrough song, so it was subtle. I could have gave you Pony by Genuine, because that's really what they really wanted to see, but I didn't. I saved you, Barrett.
If I'm being completely honest, I don't even remember what song played.
It was a walkthrough by Rich Homie Quan. Rich Homie, baby.
I walked backwards. I think that was appropriate.
Yeah, I see. I told Barrett, you were backing that thing up. I see what you was doing.
That's it.
I told Barrett he looked like a politician that was really excited to be there. Well, now I broke it down.
Yeah, Zach, you went crazy, man. Me, we're gonna have to get those videos from you, because she was taping from the top.
I had a pretty out of all the because it was a straight guy call.
Correct, it was a straight guy walk.
I got the loudest.
Oh yeah, you was one of the loudest.
You were good.
I had to break it down.
Yeah, you broke it down, man.
When I go back to my wife, like when I got home, I was like, listen,
you're gonna see some videos.
I did it. And she was like, I don't.
She didn't believe you?
No, man.
That's why I'm saying to me, you got to give us these videos so we can make them get online, man.
Yeah. Everybody, please subscribe to the show. Subscriptions drive our searches. That's how we get new listeners. Also, please consider supporting us financially by visiting our Patreon page, patreon.com/theallaboutnothing. And to make it easy on you, we can we set up a link on our website, theallaboutnothing.com. There's a link up there at the top for our Patreon. Also, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts and you think we're worth it, go ahead and give us one of those 5-star reviews. You can punch up a review and talk about us. You can tell us what you like about the show. I promise we'll read it. All you have to do is put it on there.
We promise Barrett will read it at least.
I will. If you're not on Apple Podcasts, please go ahead and give us a thumbs up or share the episode with your family and friends. Follow us on Twitter, AAN_pod, or interact with us, the show at theallaboutnothing.com. So, like we just mentioned, the shout-outs, the Revue Drag Brunch was a blast. Awesome. Paris LaFerris, hostess and headliner of the Revue. I want to say thanks again to Garrett, who is the entertainment manager at the venue. Maurice, who is the hype man at the Revue. Also, all the entertainers, Yasmin K. Nicole, Mercy Madison, Navaria Angel. Fantastic. We had a really good time.
They all, I was blown away.
Yeah.
And Trent, kicking ass on the DJ table.
Oh man, thank you, man. Hey, I'm glad y'all can see it live, man, for the first time.
You know what song went the hardest when they were dancing?
What's that?
All the pretty girls walk like this.
Oh yeah, you like that one? Yeah.
Everyone broke down to that. I was like, shit.
Also, thanks to the venue just for their hospitality. Absolutely.
Correct. All those great people that work there, the waitress and waitresses. I end up paying you guys' tab at the end.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was like $31.
Was that it?
Yeah, it was it.
Oh, that was more than
it wasn't too bad.
I paid 40. I paid 40.
I was trying to figure out. I was like, I thought they closed out. I was like, why do they still have it? He's like, yeah, here's their tab. I'm like, okay, but I told you to give them free drinks, so why do they have a tab?
That's so funny because I only had the one free drink apparently.
Yeah, which was crazy. I don't know, man. They're kind of funny about it, but I understand they got to get their money. But I ain't had no problem. My boys was here just as long as y'all had a good time. Got the drinks. I got the chicken and waffles.
Had a good time. Chicken and waffles were
amazing.
Good.
With
amazing.
the breakfast sandwich was dope.
I was under some duress Sunday because right before the show started, my board had some technical difficulties.
Yeah, I
so
noticed that.
I had to rush and call Garrett, and Garrett, me and him set it up so I could run sound through the laptop, which was like the first time I've done it at the Revue. So it was kind of like on
You
the
didn't
spot.
miss a beat, man.
Hey man,
No,
it was
Literally.
it was still good, man. It was still good. So we're back to it. Got my new board. Got a gig tomorrow at the main course. They're having a 70s party.
Now,
So
I just want to point out, we keep calling it the main course. It's not the main course.
I know. Yeah.
It-
It's stuck in my head now.
It changed back in November.
It's only because it used to say it on top of the building, so I cannot not see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love
It is-
that. I love the venue's venue. I mean, it was the upstairs is awesome. The downstairs is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put links in the show notes as well. But check out the venue, Columbia, South Carolina, their Facebook page, because they post a bunch of things that come up. You'll have to check that out because even like they have Sunday jazz
after us.
after the Revue.
They have the dueling pianos as well.
Yeah, dueling pianos. What was that on Saturday night?
Usually Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yep. And they got a couple of other things, man. They always got like rotating
Elvis
impersonators. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I want to see that.
And karaoke. I think he said that was
Karaoke on Wednesdays.
Yeah,
Yep.
tonight.
Yep.
Yeah, Wednesday, the night we record this. So the address for the venue is 1626 Main Street in Columbia. So that's where you need to go by. They have lunch and dinner menus available every day, brunch available Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And not only do they have like a Southern cooking, or a Southern foods menu,
Yep.
they also have hibachi.
Yes, that's
Japanese hibachi that you can get from. You can also order off the menu. So
Jarrett.
Yeah,
Garrett.
He got me. I know I'm going back. He said, "What did he tell us, Barrett? Heritage hot dogs or something?"
Yeah, it's the Heritage hot dog or something like that.
Something like that. I was like,
really
"Do
special
what?"
hot dog. I didn't get one.
You didn't get one?
I don't.
completely forgot.
I think he said they weren't available for the brunch.
For the brunch.
Oh, okay.
After the brunch.
Yeah,
Probably.
I was like, you know that hotel that's like directly across the street from it?
Yeah.
Apparently, that's where Metallica stayed when they came to town.
Oh, that's cool.
So keep an eye out, Trent. You might see famous people coming in.
Hey
now.
man, hey, look, you never know who's gonna show up at a Revue, especially because we're about to go to Saturday shows too now. So during Soda City, while they do the walking through, we're gonna set a speaker out there and draw some people in on
Very
Saturday.
cool.
It was a straight
Starting
up
in May.
blast. I had so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm glad y'all guys came.
Also, want to make sure everybody knows this, and I know we mentioned it last week, but the Best of Columbia 2023 season's upon us. Nominations are open until April 30th. Voting begins on June the 7th. You can find a link near the top of our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com. You want to nominate the All About Nothing podcast
That's right.
for Best Local Podcast as well. You can nominate Welcome to Wonderland with Amy Bland. You can nominate DJ Lonzo's Top 5 as well
right.
as What the Pod Was That. So if you have it in you, please go visit the webpage and nominate us. We at least want to be nominated. We want to show up.
As long as we're in the
Who are we
nomination.
competing with?
Don't know.
I don't know. It is a lot of podcasts in the city. So,
But is it podcast specific or is it like watch
It's
five?
best local podcast?
Yeah,
so,
Best Local Podcast is the category that we're trying to get
So
in
you
on.
never know who can be in that category.
Yeah.
Like maybe some famous people might from South Carolina might have podcasts.
So if we win, they got to come give us a trophy.
Well, we get
we got
like a
go
plaque, I think.
Yeah,
right?
and they have like a event for the best of free
Yeah,
times, so that we can go to their party that they have.
You can also vote for or nominate DJ Lonzo for Best DJ.
I'm on with it.
It's under the Arts, Music, and Entertainment section. The Revue also for the Best Local Drag Show, and the
Correct.
Venue for the Best Bar to see live music and Best Place to see a drag show. So those are your nominations.
In my eyes, guys, there's no competition.
There's no competition. There's no competition, man. As long as I'm behind them ones and twos, man, we're in there.
There's no competition.
So I did have some corrections from last week's episode.
Did the corrector hit you?
No. These
Oh, okay.
well, okay.
Oh, the
so
corrector hit me.
The corrector did make a correction. Brittany Griner definitely did play for a Russian team in the Euro League.
I was right again.
That was absolutely
Lock her back up.
But she played, and also her salary for playing on the UMMC Yekaterinburg was $1 million. That was
I'll take that trip over there too.
for $1 million though.
Yeah, Barrett, are you getting it in the States?
Not with the gulag.
I acknowledge that, but not Russia. I can't do Russia. Also,
Dos Gibanya.
the other correction: the Berlin Olympics took place in 1936. That was 3 years before the invasion of Poland, and Berlin had been selected to host the 36 Olympics before the rise of the Nazi Party and Adolf Hitler. So Adolf Hitler didn't have anything to do with bringing the Olympics. They didn't bring the Olympics to him for any reason.
It was already there.
It was already going to be there.
They just couldn't change the spot.
Yeah. Well, in the second half, we're going to discuss something a little bit dicey, but the first half, I do want to give a news update. Dominion and Fox News reached a settlement on the defamation lawsuit against Fox News. And if you've been living under a rock and you don't know what I'm talking about, essentially, Dominion is a voting system, or Dominion owns a voting system that is contracted in many states across the country, specifically for the elections.
So how much money did they lose, Barrett?
787.5 million dollars is to be paid to Dominion voting systems by Fox News.
You want to know what's crazy? They sued Alex Jones for more.
Yeah.
Walk your trap,
He's not
take
even
your
a,
trap.
He's not even a. He's not even a network.
He's.
They just wanted him to be like.
They wanted him to make an example.
That's crazy.
Because
you're writing checks for the rest of your life.
and a lot of that's because Alex Jones was, despite all of the evidence, despite the fact that in private he would say that he knows he was just strumming it up for viewers and listeners.
You guys know that it was the gay frogs.
Yeah.
That were sitting there and attacking.
Ultimately,
Tiny Hook.
but he was constantly attacking the parents and the administration and the children. I mean, he said the whole thing was a fake. It was a facade, and that there were actors that it all happened.
You always see those memes going around about the same girl being at the crime scene crying and stuff like that. I usually always see those memes for some reason.
Yeah, but it's not the same person.
I know it's never the same person
unless they are just unbelievably
they look like.
Listen to me. How many brown-haired women?
How many brown out girls are there?
So
Unlock.
in the settlement, Fox News did get out of having to admit that they were consistently telling lies about the voting machines, the process, and the fact that the election was not stolen.
So they don't have to come out and say that?
Fox News doesn't have to say.
So they got technically an NDA.
Really? So Fox doesn't have to say anything.
They
Just got to pay the money.
So a company that
Money
is
talks.
a company that
Money
is worth
talks,
about
man.
$4 billion is losing almost $1 billion of that.
Which is
So 1 quarter.
Yeah, one quarter. I was about to say.
But I like
Especially when Trump runs this again, those quarters are going to go crazy, man.
it's the Fox viewing group, the people that are the most MAGA that watch Fox News for the content.
It's not for the news.
It's just for the content.
Y'all are a bunch of suckers, just so you know. But it is a
You
depleting.
hear that? Well, you heard what Barrett said. Say it again, Barrett.
You watch Fox News for content, you're a sucker.
You're a sucker.
You've been grifted.
And tell your mama.
I wonder what Madge Tadge Vag is up to today.
And do yourself a favor, please make sure that your catheter bags and your easy to use catheters are up to date and not expired.
I do want to
That's
bring
the
this
only
up.
thing you're getting on Fox News.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, I just saw this before I left work, was on a panel, of course, in Congress, and she told
where she belongs.
No, she called the guy
Should
a
be
liar.
at work.
So she called one of the guys testifying a liar. She called him. She's like, I recuse my time, and you're a liar. And so like the one guy's like, stop. I want that not stricken from the record, but there was another term he used. And the other guy, after they deliberated a little bit, goes, so that means she cannot speak again. And they're like, that is correct. She is dismissed. She's no longer allowed to talk. And she goes, personal inquiry. And he goes, that's not a real thing. Shut up.
Yeah, you hear that, Miss Green? Shut your mouth.
Dude, they shut her down.
You jabroni.
She goes, personal inquiry, like a little just background noise. And he's like, not a real thing. No.
I have to imagine that there was a crowd cheering when that happened.
Oh, it sounded just like this.
That's right.
Thank you, Miss Green. Thank you.
Even other MAGA people that were like on that whatever panel it was or whatever were like, oh my God.
You know one of the craziest things is there's a congressman from North Carolina who keeps popping up in my TikTok who goes on to talk about, what it's like working in Congress, what he's doing, what he's seeing, whatever.
Correct.
And he made a statement on one of his previous or most recent TikToks where he actually said that everything that you see that's being broadcast on C-SPAN and then gets relayed to the news and whatnot, that what you're seeing there does not happen when the cameras are off. So if the House if the House rules turn the cameras off, then they don't.
That's
do
when that's when it gets real, right?
Well, that's when they actually try and get work done.
Cordial to a degree.
They're only doing it for the Marjorie Taylor Greene.
They're doing it for the clout.
Boebert. They're Jordan.
Lauren Boebert.
Yeah, Lauren Boebert. Who's Jordan? Jim Jordan. They only put on a show for the cameras.
Okay, that makes sense. That
When
makes
the cameras aren't off, they don't even attend.
So you're saying basically that all our congressmen and House representatives, they're all
Clowns.
WWE wrestlers.
But I don't know that I'd give them enough credit to be WWE.
And we're coming
wrestlers.
for you, sucker.
I would say.
Ooh,
I would
trying
say.
to pass Bill 242.
I would say that they are more like clowns.
Yeah,
Like, because
Clown Town.
there's no value to them. We're paying them $280,000 a year.
Well, there's some
and they're
value.
you think being
No.
Hey, you
But
think
there's
being,
still no
money.
value.
Yeah, I'm talking about the money.
you think being the backup kicker in the NFL is the easiest job in the world?
Yeah, you're
Wait
right.
until you don't got to show up to work to make like six figures.
And you get to go on vacation six
Yeah.
times a year.
Yeah.
What was Charlie Whitehurst? He was the quarterback for the Titans, and he was the highest paid clipboard holder you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the quarterback for those Clemson Tigers.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
And
he
then the
played for
Titans.
Clemson.
Yeah.
Correct.
They lost a lot.
So
but-
have you guys been getting in your emails like any Cory Bookers needing money?
Oh, of course.
Okay. I thought it was just me.
I look.
Because Corey's been on it. I'm like, Corey, god damn,
Yeah,
you
I have.
you gotta slow down. He's like, I'm not asking people and like
You got Rosario Dawson. Now you want money?
but look, this is
he
the
still
funny
dating her?
the funniest part is he's like, I'm not asking these rich pharmacists for money. I'm asking you people, like you lower end people for money. I'm
the
like,
people who are already pissed about.
you might want to ask them first, Corey.
I know you got that tax
But
return.
let me give you the idea of why that is.
Respect.
Because what they're not only are they trying to get money, and they're only asking for $3, $5, $20 or whatever. That's what
Today, Corey.
they are. It's not necessarily they're asking for money. They're asking people to get involved so that they will turn out to vote. If they have money invested in someone,
Yeah.
Okay.
then the
That
likelihood
makes
is
sense.
they'll turn out to vote.
Okay.
I can see that.
It's a gimmick. That's what I did. No, I'm just kidding.
No, well,
It's all a gag.
You remember old Barry Sanders? Here I am once again, asking you for money. Like, God damn it! I already hang your picture up in my podcast studio.
Facts,
What else
facts.
do I need?
Yeah, Barrett. I mean, not Barrett, but Bernie. We love you though.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders. Who did I say?
I think you said Barrett, maybe.
Or Barry or
Barry
Barrett.
Sanders.
Yeah, I
Barry
thought you said
Sanders.
Barry Sanders.
It's
Yeah,
Bernie. Sorry, Bern.
feel the burn.
I did not give you any money. I just supported your old ass, and I would have pushed you in the wheelchair.
Definitely supported you.
I did give Bernie some money, so I can fully admit that I gave Bernie some money throughout the course of his campaign. So, but I think what we learned now is that Fox News can go out there and say whatever they want, and as long as the checkbook has enough money in it, they get to get away with it.
Apparently.
And that was one of the biggest things for Fox News, was being able to get away without having to go on the air or in a newspaper article or something where they would have to admit wrongdoing.
Yeah.
Them signing the check over to Dominion Voting Service, whatever the company is, but them being able to just sign that check was their get out of jail.
Yeah, but it's also admitting libel, but none of their followers are going to care.
No,
again,
I know.
it's a you're just out to get the people telling the truth. When the people telling them, quote unquote, the truth, have admitted, like Tucker Carlson,
Yeah.
we have text messages where it's not real.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Because genuinely, they're like, this is fucking insane.
we talked about it last week, but Tucker Carlson literally wrote text messages, and I'm paraphrasing about what he wrote, but basically said things like Donald Trump is a stain on society. Donald Trump is
This or
ruining
that.
this party. Donald Trump is ultimately he wrote these things in text message, and they all did. All of the anchors had
Megyn
something
Kelly,
to say.
all of them.
But like now it's basically saying, yes, we're going to come on and we're going to lie to you about the context of the news. We're going to lie to you about the information. We're going to tell you the election was stolen. We're going to tell you all of this bullshit and get away with it as long as Rupert can play it.
But they're Mad TV. Fox News is the new Mad TV.
You know what's crazy?
I'd give that
if
to
you
him.
if you read the Dark Knight Returns, the Frank Miller Batman books,
Yeah.
especially Dark Knight Returns Part 3.
I love that movie.
They talk.
good one.
He illustrates even back in the 80s the corruptness of the media when they lean one way about a subject, and he even includes. I don't think he mentions the name, but it's Trump, like through the drawings and stuff like that in Part 3.
Don't get me wrong.
What they do, the blue jacket and blue pants with a red
With the
tie.
hair and the hair's in there.
That's it. That's all you need
But
for that
he
Halloween
just basically
costume.
has like an asshole for a face. Like, for the most part. Like it's pretty. It's like when I picked it up, because I loved the Dark Knight Part 1.
That sounds like a Dick Tracy villain.
Or Arseface from Preacher. His mouth is a butthole.
Constantly in this puckered position.
Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, it's thoroughly disappointing that in a civil lawsuit like that the option to settle on something like that, and the fact that they got half of what they were asking for. They wanted 1.6. Now Mike Lindell is still being sued by Dominion for like $1 billion. I don't remember what the amount is.
my pillows.
Come on, Lindell.
But like it's like $1 billion or $1.3 billion.
I see why he came out with them sheets so he can pay them back.
Is there a bigger?
Sheets are nice. I can't lie.
Is there a bigger, just useless, full on dork like in the Republican right wing party than Mike Lindell? Like that's the dude that anybody else in the Republican Party be like, Mike, I need a coffee. He'd be like, sure, right on. I'm gonna go over right there and get it for you.
He's like one of those guys, like you were on, when you're on tour with like a band and he's like a roadie and he'll do anything
He's a
to make
do-boy.
sure.
Yeah.
He'll do anything to be with the band.
I am disappointed though. Mike Lindell seems to be catching on more when it comes to like the people that are coming in the crowds and whatnot.
I'm telling you, it's the pillows, man. It's the pillows and the sheets.
But what's happening? Is he's beginning to recognize, because he's getting the same questions asked by people that are not legitimate, like news reporters. They're not legitimate journalists that are asking questions to him, and he's catching on to a lot of them now. So he just shuts down those interviews almost immediately because he recognizes immediately what is going on.
I don't know.
You know who we need to save us and come back from Mexico?
Jesse Ventura needs to get up here and expose the government for what it really is.
Is he still in Mexico? I know he ran off to Mexico after his term ended, because he saw the downfall. Of the
Well, he
United
did
States
that
coming.
conspiracy show and apparently uncovered enough that
Yeah.
it scared the shit out of him, and he ran to Mexico. Which
I don't blame him, but people have to talk like him, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
How do you do this, man?
Me and Arnold Schwarzenegger fist fought on the set of Predator.
If you're not watching this on YouTube, the facial expressions that Zach has to go through.
We
got to
get a camera just for him. Like it's got to be like a camera that's like right here, or you know what I'm saying, so they can actually see how intense he goes.
Dude, I'll never forget when he met a guy that said he's a time traveler when he's a kid. He's like,
So you're a kid, and they put you in a time machine, and you met George Washington? Oh my God.
That's great.
Amazing, man.
End result, basically, what our judicial,
You're like the guy from Cops.
our civil.
No, is
Police
it Cop?
Academy?
Yeah, Police Academy.
Oh yeah,
Carl Winslow.
Yeah, is his name Carl Winslow? No, it wasn't
Damn it.
Carl Winslow.
No, it's close.
Yeah, it is something Winslow.
Carl Winslow's the dad from Family.
From
Guy.
Family Guy. Family
he's-
Matters.
He's TV dad.
Yeah.
So basically, what we've learned from this civil action or civil lawsuit between Dominion
Watch
and
your
Fox
mouth.
News, is basically that you can say anything you want to as long as you have the bank account to back it up.
That's what I'm telling Zach, man. You better leave Michael Jackson alone, bro. They'll sue the hell out of you.
Michael Winslow.
Michael Winslow. It's
Look at
very
that.
close.
Michael and Michael. Look at that. Yeah, leave Michael alone, man. All right.
I'm sorry.
We don't
I
have
didn't need that.
we don't have the money to pay for Michael.
I bet we do, dude. He was on X Factor or something as a legit contestant.
Oh, that's true. X Factor's been canceled though.
American Got Talent. America's Got
America's
Talent.
Got Talent.
Oh, okay. Did have a story I want to tell you about and get you guys' reaction
Let
on
me
this.
hear it, man. What you got going on in your life?
So a couple from India decapitated themselves over the weekend using a makeshift guillotine that was set up in a way that their severed heads fell into a fire altar as a form of human sacrifice, according to officials. The couple committed this gruesome act in the village of, and I know I'm going to mispronounce this, but it's Venchia in India. located in the Rajkot district of the western state of Gujarat. Now, according to police, the police sub-inspector, the couple was engaged in a sacrificial ritual. The couple first prepared a fire altar before putting their heads under the guillotine-like mechanism held by a rope. And as per the Hindustan Times, as soon as they released the rope, the iron blade fell on them, severing their heads, which then rolled into the fire.
India's been on a roll for the last 2 weeks, man. First the Dalai Lama, now this.
They'll whip your ass with sticks and.
We didn't talk about the Dalai Lama.
No, we haven't.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so
Hold on, I gotta-
A little bit of all this.
I just want to say that's your brain on religion.
yeah,
Whatever version of it that they were doing.
Yeah.
Do we have an explanation? Was there a note?
no, that was the whole article.
That was they basically cut their heads for love, basically, in life.
Not-
and sacrifice.
Is that why I turned it?
I don't think they did.
I mean, you're not gonna do it together, like, come on now. Somebody would have backed out.
I think of this
Like,
story.
right?
As soon as he hits the rope, you're like, nope.
No, yeah. we.
I just wanted a house.
So in our history here in the United States, we have had several gurus that wound up leading a mass of people.
That
like
massively
thousands.
kill themselves.
Yeah.
Jim Jones.
Well, Jim Jones, yeah, but he was a religious
Waco.
leader. But there are people that claim themselves to be gurus and they sit and they hand out knowledge to people, or they say things that sound extremely interesting and educated, and
it
they
all
wind up-
boils down to them having sex with your wife.
Yep. And you can't touch them ever again. Which is the craziest shit I've ever heard in my life.
You're basically talking about cults.
Yeah. So basically, some of these
Religions
gurus
and
in
cults
the
are really right beside
Do
each
you
other.
know what
There's
the
not-
difference between a religion
I
and a
know.
cult,
You already
right?
told me. You already told me. Stop.
A couple
No.
thousand years. Or in
You're
the
gonna
case
piss.
of-
You're
in
gonna
the
piss
case-
off our Sunday listeners.
In the case of Mormonism, a few hundred years.
These episodes drop on Monday, sir. But yeah, this is to me. This I guarantee you that if this story gets followed up, that there's a good possibility that it leads to some leader telling them
That they had to do it.
This is what they had to do.
And I do believe that leader was the Dalai Lama because he's a sick mother.
I don't.
He's a
I
sick
believe
mother.
it was the bad guy from Temple of Doom.
There you go.
Is that who Lara Croft killed?
No,
Oh,
Indiana
okay.
Jones.
Yeah,
Okay.
So I'll just say
He
this:
rips the heart from his chest.
correct.
the Dalai Lama situation. I do not fully understand, except for what
Nobody does.
headlines I've read, which was basically that the Dalai Lama asked a young boy
Stuck on my tongue.
Suck his tongue. That's
Stuck on my
what it
tongue.
was.
to suck his tongue.
And then did this. Stuck on my tongue.
And then they came back out saying it was a joke, right?
Yeah, they said he talks to all the kids like that. But the kid tried to lean in and do it.
Yeah.
So
There's a bunch of Catholic priests going like, yeah, it's just a joke.
What? No.
I'm definitely sure the Dalai Lama and the
Dalai Lama
priests are
gets it.
definitely they're kissing cousins. telling you.
I'm very uncomfortable. I've throughout the course of my knowledge of this current Dalai Lama, I've had a fair.
Did you
amount
know
of-
other Dalai Lamas?
Well, they're Dalai Lamas. That
I know,
that
but
came
do
before.
we know whenever a Dalai Lama dies? Like,
So when
I don't
it-
think it's national news, right?
Yeah. So yeah, if this Dalai Lama were to pass away, then there would be another Dalai Lama, but that Dalai Lama has to come forward. So we won't know who it is until they've actually come forward.
Okay, so do they like vote on this? Because
No,
monks don't talk,
I don't-
so
I
how,
don't think-
like that. So
I'm gonna say I don't.
So how did
think
they vote?
So. I don't
They
think there's a
burn the
vote.
smoke like the Vatican when the Pope dies.
I think
he
basically
just comes up and it's like
because
I'm next.
I think that says Chris.
But the Dalai Lama is basically the same resurrected life over and over.
You're
and
the
over.
same guy.
So I think
Like the Pope.
it's
The
essential.
Pope, all of them look the same.
Oh Lord.
Let's
No.
be 100% honest.
Hey, some are Nazis.
Yeah, the one before this one was a Nazi. This one just happens to be from Argentina.
Well, this-
no.
This one isn't nice. I've seen videos of him slapping a girl, right? That came out, right? You remember that?
Well, the
story
funny,
wasn't too long ago.
well, she went to kiss his ring, and he was like, no.
And like popped her or something.
But was
I
it
don't
during
think he hit-
COVID?
I don't think he hit her. No.
Nah.
It was just like gross because everyone, like thousands of people kept trying to kiss his ring, and he's like, God damn it, no.
I don't think those were his words.
God damn it.
I would love it. So something like, oh, God damn it.
But I'll just say this. So throughout the course of my knowledge of or recognizing the existence of this Dalai Lama, I have always been. I guess I have always found him to be very respectful, and I don't.
This
feel
is
like,
a first, right?
Yeah, this is a situation.
There's a lot
where
of
I look at it and
respectful.
go,
There's a lot of respectful pedophiles out there.
Oh, I don't. You need to stop visiting that park, man.
You go to the same one. Remember, I broke the swing.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, that's all right. So yes, but you
It's
need
a look no touch park.
you need to stop randomly talking to people at that park.
They talk to me, man.
Okay,
I know they
that's
talk to you. It gets a little awkward at that part.
Nobody talks to me.
Yeah, they do.
My social anxiety, I literally go and sit in a corner.
And it always happens whenever you're pushing your son, and then somebody else starts pushing their kid, and they're like, "So we doing this pushing thing, huh?"
I'm dumbfounded at that particular park. I am dumbfounded by the line that forms of the kids that want to do the chair slide,
Facts.
or the chair
Facts.
rail, or whatever. And
And
like,
it's supposed to be for like disabled kids, or
that one.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But like what winds up happening is like a kid will stand in line and then the parent will walk over and stand there to make sure that their kid gets their
their
turn.
turn.
It's such a weird. I hate all of that. I'm just gonna build my daughter the best fucking park in my backyard.
Ooh, okay. Let me hear.
My
about
dad
it.
did it for me.
Well, before we get to the reading court, I just want to say this about the Dalai Lama. If you have the opportunity as a family to go in front of the Dalai Lama, don't take your kids. Just do everybody a favor. Don't take your kids, because
You know what? I wouldn't have.
I just don't want to create an awkward situation for.
Well, if you don't
him.
create an awkward situation, he's going to create one for himself.
That's fair.
In
You know what?
4K camera.
The Dalai Lama's coming. I need some blatantly vague advice.
Yeah. So last week, Zach's book has not yet been. I guess we haven't gotten anybody's response on Zach's book.
The
from last week.
corrector got it, but I don't know if she counts.
We're not gonna say.
anymore.
We're not gonna say, because she definitely.
Don't disrespect her now. She's a Patreon supporter.
Yeah, she'll
I did
correct-
it. She just instantly knew Monday morning. She's like, "Here's
She
your
will-
book." I was like,
She hit you with the "here's your book."
"Yeah."
She will absolutely correct you on that.
And I'm coming through with some Dr. Seuss books, so you'll never be ready.
You just said what the books are.
Well, he didn't say.
I didn't say which one.
Yeah, okay, all right.
I
So
could read what's the
Mama
guy?
llama rep pajama got some woody for your mama.
all right, let's go ahead and hit up the reading nothing corner.
And now, the All About Nothing podcast presents the Reading Nothing Corner.
Dream I had when I was 3 years old. It's the first dream I can remember. It was set in one of those humid southern dusks I knew as a kid. The kind of night I'd look forward to the underside of the pillow cooling off so that I could turn it over and get something fresher to rest my head on for a good minute or so. The old folks describe this sort of weather as close. In my dream, a group of kids and I were playing in the backyard of my family's home in Greensboro, North Carolina. Fireflies, lightning bugs, as the same old folks called it, lit up in a dazzling succession and sparkled around the backyard. Somehow, I was the only one that could see them, these lightning bugs, but if I pointed them out or caught them in a jar, then the others got to see them too, and it made them happy. This was one of those movie-like dreams, and I recall one broad out-of-body shot panning past a silhouette herd of children, with me out in front. There was joyous laughter, and a burnt cinema sky dotted with flickering insects that no one could see until I showed them. And I remember another, tighter shot of the children's faces lighting up as I handed them glowing jars with fireflies I'd captured for them. I felt needed and talented at something. Now, this dream wasn't any kind of revelation. Hell, I was barely 3 years old. And although it stuck with me all these years, I've never taken it to be a message from above that I'm a chosen prophet, or Joseph, from Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. However, a half-century later, it's obvious to me that the dream reflects the way I see artistry and the role of an artist. At its most basic, making art is about following what's luminous to you and putting it in a jar to share with others.
I'm James Earl Jones, and this has been the Reading Nothing Corner, presented by the All About Nothing podcast.
All right.
I know what it was.
Did you?
It's De Niro's inner monologue from Cape Fear.
I was about to say Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill.
All right, you know how it works. If you know the book and the author, go ahead and write to us. Our email address is
You know what to do.
theshow@theallaboutnothing.com, or you can tweet to us at AAN_pod. and relay that back to us, and we'll figure something out. I know we talked about giving away hats, but these shit is expensive.
Yeah, they're kind of expensive. So we'll come out with some stickers for you guys.
We'll figure something out. The shout outs on the show should be enough, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we may have to get some mammoth lids for this dome.
Or maybe some mammoth meatballs.
Oh God! All right, that's gonna do it for the first half. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, y'all know Coast. You're listening to the All About Nothing podcast.
All right, welcome back to the All About Nothing podcast. Thank you very much for sticking with us because, frankly, if you don't make it through a 10-second commercial break, then
you have no life.
Where's your attention span?
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, the Spotify commercials are longer than that, so you know.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
I want to point out, Zach and I are wearing them. Trent is not.
I'm advertising mine so they can see it.
So we do have some new merch. We have some ball caps that we're going to be selling, and we'll put them on our Instagram and our Facebook and Twitter and everything. So we'll do that here soon.
If need be, you probably can come to the mall. Barrett probably give me a couple if need be if he gets some orders, and you can just pick them up right from the mall. If you want to.
We can absolutely do that. So these hats are high quality. It's embroidered. They feel good on the head. They keep the sun out of your eyes if you're not staring at it. And
Barrett said he didn't want to go cheap on the hats, and I appreciate he didn't go cheap on the hats because they look quality.
They have the sweatbands in them too.
Yeah, these are good hats. You're gonna want to wear them everywhere.
You would have thought John Costas got them from the Fireflies.
You honestly, I'm considering maybe seeing if I can't drop a couple off in the Fireflies. Anyway,
okay, I see what you're trying to do
John
there.
Costas is rocking the All About Nothing hat.
Or maybe he should rock the All About Nothing hat while he's doing his book signing.
Agreed. I absolutely agree. I think we should host one of his book signings.
Oh, the one in Columbia would be dope.
I think we should
at the
host
field if he wants to.
And then Barrett, give John a break from all the autographs he's going to get, and you read an excerpt from the book.
Wouldn't
for
that
him.
be fantastic?
I think we're all about some stuff right now.
I think that would be. I think that is the most appropriate way to market and push that book.
And we're all about a sponsorship.
Again, that book comes out on June 12th. There's an Amazon link in most of the show notes that we publish, so you can find that.
I'm
there.
getting a signed copy.
So I wanted in this half, I guess in this half we're going to get kind of serious, because I guess first now Trent, you weren't there the night, I don't think.
No, but I heard about it.
Okay, so this is we're going to be talking about trans athletics, trans athletes, that sort of thing, because recently this sort of situation that has as far as I'm concerned has been distant from me. We did recently have a situation where on our softball team, we played against a team that had a girl that is trans.
Correct.
That she was male, and
we did confirmation, right? We do confirmation. Okay, cool.
She transitioned or is in the process of transitioning, and now she identifies as a female. And utmost respect, because I can't imagine being in that situation and then having to make the decision to move forward on that. And the reason that I guess I wanted to talk about with you guys was because it does have I am conflicted on how it's appropriate for me to respond with showing as much respect for the decisions and the situations that people are in. So long story short, this girl that plays on this other softball team was able to hit a home run off of me. And I say home run, I'm talking
center field line drive, I heard.
It was hit, it was crushed. And she did hit a girl ball. So that's basically the situation, is that this is an individual who to me still is not bulky. I mean, is not huge, it doesn't look strong, but had the prowess of someone who's played for years and years, and literally crushed the ball over the field fence. And I didn't think anything of it until one of the other players on her team came and walked over to me and said, "How does it feel to get a home run hit off you by a girl?" And I jokingly kind of made the response. I said, well, technically, and that's all I said. And the girl winked at me. That was their pitcher, and she winked at me and said, and then walked away. And then later confirmed that yes, that this individual had transitioned or was in the process of transitioning, which brought up some responses, an emotional response from me in respect to how do I feel about this.
And can I interject just for a second?
Sure.
This feels like a topic, like, because we're so open for everything.
Yeah.
I mean, even trans rights, they have every bit of a right to do and be comfortable in their own body and be true to themselves. But when it comes down to, there's no way to approach this topic and not feel like you're going to get crucified.
Yeah.
Even saying, I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah. And that's definitely one of the issues that I guess I'm most conflicted about, is because when it comes to that situation, I want to be as respectful as possible because I'm not in that situation. I was born a male, and I've always felt male.
You're a cisgendered male who identifies with it. Yeah. And like I said, and you put it perfectly. I've never been, just like I'm not gay and I'm not transex. Like I don't know how that feels to be ridiculed about it, or feel uncomfortable about it, to be a puzzle piece that doesn't fit in a world that says you need to,
right?
That kind of thing, and I respect every bit of it. But then you come across these situations where women who have fought for things like Title IX to have an equal playing field, for it to become unequal at certain parts in like we saw a UFC fight where it was a man or woman, a man who transitioned to be a woman, came in there and was just physically not appearing as a woman, and just demolished a cis woman.
Yeah.
And you're going like, what? It's like a paradox. Like, you want to, how far does it go?
Yeah. And so in my response, and I thought about it a lot after the softball game. I several days it was forefront in my mind, and gave it as much attention as I felt like I should. And ultimately, the decision I came up with is, regardless of what that individual was, she's now a she. Yeah. And that's what she identifies as.
She absolutely is.
And regardless of her ability that transitioned over with her from being a sexed male before, is still hers.
Right.
I ultimately made the decision in my head. I decided that this isn't something that I'm going to be upset about, because frankly, it's just co-ed softball.
Yeah.
It's rec league softball. But I think in my head, I've basically made the decision that if someone who is trans from male to female and wants to be recognized as a female, then that's what I'll recognize them as, a female. And as far as athletics go, I've got some examples that I want to talk about. And this one just recently. This was just in the past couple of days. But Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, which, by the way, the beginning of that just basically means this is going to be bad.
Notorious asshole.
Yeah. DeSantis calls transgender swimmer Leah Thompson a fraud. During a speech at Liberty University in Virginia, DeSantis identified Thomas as a fraud, stating that it is wrong to have a swimmer compete for 3 years on the men's swim team, switch to a women's team, and win the national title. He went on to say that this is a fraud, this is wrong. The athlete, Leah Catherine Thomas, first openly transgender athlete to win an NCAA Division I national championship. And I recognize that she was not the number one swimmer before she transitioned.
Right.
She transitioned into being a female and is recognized, as far as I'm concerned, and most of the sporting world, well, most of athletes, and the NCAA recognizes her as a she. And you know, we've had discussions outside of the podcast where, you know, said, well, what's the solution? What's going to make this work for everybody? And
there's not one in sight, as far as I can see.
No, there isn't, except just acceptance. That I think that ultimately that trans women should be able to play women's sports because that's what they identify as, and if they've made the decision that that's what they're going to do, then that's what they should be allowed to do.
And I think too, here's an example: the bullpen catcher for South Carolina is a female.
Yeah.
And she's apparently awesome enough to catch these warm-up heaters from pretty damn good bullpen. And if you were to say, let's say, because I think there's females that absolutely can go out there and play baseball with the best of them.
I agree. I think women's fast pitch softball it's
monstrous. It's awesome.
To me, it's almost more difficult than, because I don't understand the pitch.
I don't either.
The fact that it's coming off the bottom, and there are some of these softball pitchers that are so good that
like kicking 70-mile-an-hour softballs.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel safe. I don't understand.
It's like a cannonball.
Yeah, I don't understand how. I don't understand how there's any control.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense.
Let's say about this. Say they wiped away Title IX and they said, if you want to play a sport, come play the sport. That's not fair either, though, is it? At the end of the day, would that be fair?
No,
because you'd have dudes playing softball.
Exactly.
You would have. I mean, and it also feels sexist just to go like, well, the dude's going to do it better. But
women have been they've been fighting that the whole time.
That's exactly it. There's just a genetic disposition to being a male that makes you bigger.
It's a couple sports that it's
basketball, for an example.
It's kind of even.
I love women's basketball. I think it's fantastic.
I was about to say gymnastics or stuff like that.
Yeah,
like gymnastics. It can be.
But there are dudes that are fantastic at gymnastics.
Correct.
But it tends to be more petite male that will do that kind of thing.
The men in gymnastics wind up doing the stronger events,
right.
Like they'll do the parallel bars, or they'll do.
Well, say there's just straight up men's gymnastics and women's gymnastics, and there is, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't speak from
Olympics. Yep.
Full knowledge, but transgender woman who is a national gold title contender for women's gymnastics transitions to a male. Mm-hmm. And just goes over there and runs the table on them.
Yeah.
Is the outrage the same?
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't think so, because I look at gymnastics like I look at golf. Like, women can play in the PGA Tour, like,
but they don't play together.
Yeah, but they don't play. But they could play together.
WPGA or whatever it's called.
It could be together. They just choose not to do it.
Yeah. And ultimately, I think that when it comes down to this particular athlete, this Leah Catherine Thomas, there is such a outcry from the right and the conservatives and the evangelical Christians that think that this is just an abomination.
Yeah,
they attack the idea of difference and terrorize these people. Like this woman, she's there. It's almost constant now, because the fact that DeSantis decided to make an example and include her in his speech at Liberty University, she's ultimately having to endure the stresses of the having basically an entire group of people terrorize her now. Like, she's getting on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and things like that, people are saying really awful things.
She got mobbed at the
Mm-hmm. It to me, it strikes as being just completely unfair.
And let me tell you because she's expressing an opinion, like you said, and let's bring it even to the shooting that happened at the Tennessee school in Nashville.
Yeah,
transgender woman committed that atrocity. We're not going. Look at what transgenders are doing. Crazy knows no gender.
No, it doesn't. Absolutely not.
That has no bearing on. Maybe it had personal bearings on her. Or him. I'm sorry. I might have.
Her. Yeah, she was transitioning into a male.
Okay. So, like, that's whatever. Like I just said, crazy has no gender. Doesn't care. But you have to sit back and go, when it comes to things that are competitive, what is the line? I mean, even T-ball has age
age restrictions
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when a kid plays World Series, you see a kid who says he's 9 and has a mustache, you instantly go, "Oh, there's a 14-year-old kid out
They
here."
fed that kid lots of chicken.
You're like,
They need to stop eating.
yeah, I mean, so like, there's a line here, and I think it genuinely, like, in a political sense, it seems like this is the line that is going to divide everything.
Well, and they know it too, so that's why they're pushing it.
Yeah.
So, and point of fact, so the GOP-controlled Missouri House approved a ban on transgender athletes in women's sports just recently. They approved a bill that would ban transgender athletes from competing in women's sports specifically.
How do we all feel about this? What's your opinion on it?
I think it's wrong.
You think
you're
it's
asking
wrong?
Zach. I thought you were asking me.
Well, I mean that's one.
It's such a line, dude. Yeah. It's such a there's the line.
I'm right there.
Is that something that an athlete who transitions to another gender has to just live with? If I do this, then I can no longer
compete.
Do this.
Well, I guess that's where that for that individual, I guess that's where it becomes the life decision that they have to make. If I'm in Missouri and I want to go to a Missouri public school or to a university, that if I transition, I can no longer transition to a woman. I can't compete in women's athletics in Missouri.
And I've had the question posed to me: what if my child decides to do that? I don't know.
Yeah,
I literally have no idea.
Well, technically, she would be able to play, right, men's sports.
If she transitioned in Missouri, if you all lived in Missouri and she transitioned from female to male, she would be able to compete.
I'm talking about
in
in general, as in dealing with the process in general, because again, I don't know how to feel about it. Yeah. I know that it's not my decision. One thing parents do is transition kids, and that's
hold on before
like Dwayne Wade.
Well, before you make that claim, there is a very, very low number of individual children under the age of 7 that their parents have transitioned them.
No, and not what. The only point I was getting to with that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
At the same time, though, is like if that happened, in my personal opinion, I would indulge whatever dressing they want to do or whatever. Mm-hmm. But until you're like old enough to like decide that this is for real.
Sure. No, and I don't.
And I'm right there with you too.
I don't disagree, but I definitely think that in the situation where let's say one of our children decided
again, it's not a situation.
Yeah, we're not in that situation, but let's say we do. Let's say one of us has a child.
We can use Chris, a real example. Chris from Mr. Beast. Yeah. Over the weekend, he went viral because he posted a picture of his son in girl shoes and said she's trying to slay today, and like that went kind of crazy because Chris is transitioning into.
Well, that's all about then people thinking he's pushing it his agenda,
and it's kind of like working towards it, and it seems like it because why would you do that if you know you got this major spotlight on you?
As parents, though, we want to encourage our children to explore and try things, and let's say if my daughters decided that they wanted to do something that was typically male, I would support them.
Yeah.
I remember I had girl cousins growing up, and they would dress me up in their clothes and stuff like that, and it'd be funny just going around. And I remember my uncle, like they took a picture of me because everyone thought it was funny, like my whole family.
Yeah.
And my uncle was like, "What are you, gay? Why are you wearing girl clothes? Are you gay?"
Yeah.
And I remember being like, "No,
what is gay?
Like I'm just wearing funny clothes.
Yeah.
Like what does it matter?" Like, there's so much stigma just on
that's
it.
what I was gonna say.
And it's thousands of years of and there is cultures where it's not.
It's almost worse than racism, in a way. You get what I'm saying? Because it's so deeply rooted. Like it's not just, and why I say it's worse than racism.
It's a prejudice.
It's not white or black. Like both. White and black, our fathers were hard on them to be like, there's no gay stuff around here.
And that's that toxic masculinity.
Yep.
And I'll never put that into like, I think all of us grew up with,
correct,
100% grew up with people, whether it was family or not, who did that toxic masculinity shit. Mm-hmm. But it has that fucks with you just as much as anything else. I would assume.
Yeah.
And and I think that does play. 'Cause, I mean, it's just like the whole gun shooting. You need a man in the house. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Like-
yeah. That doesn't mean anything.
Well, that was the claim that
Yeah,
they made, was basically that the reason that these gun shootings are occurring is because there aren't enough men
Right.
as fathers in the
Was
in the
that
house.
that was Whitlock, right? Whatever.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is this whole thing, and it includes the transgender and gay community and all of it. It's shaking that Eisenhower era of fucking thinking that has gone on
It's causing that divide and conquer.
because everyone deserves to feel okay.
Yeah.
You deserve to feel comfortable in your skin.
Yeah.
But we
And-
all know what's not right. Like UFC, y'all know that's not right.
yeah.
Y'all know we
Those are
shouldn't be
blood
breaking
matches.
skulls.
Yeah.
But I think that is also on. So I don't just blame. I think that was an overmatched situation. I blame the UFC for, well, there goes the camera.
Okay.
I blame the UFC for, one, allowing that fight to go on, knowing how mismatched it was, despite the fact that they may have been the same weight class.
Yeah.
They shouldn't. That was a situation where they should not have let that happen. The fact that the ref didn't step in when clearly it was going that direction,
Correct.
because ultimately with these UFC fights, regardless of the situation, it's blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what they want is they want as much blood as they can get out of it, which I don't watch a lot of UFC.
Well,
I
it
don't
was like
watch any
putting Brock
UFC, to be honest with
Lesnar
you.
against Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor's good at what he does,
But when
but
it
Brock
comes to-
Lesnar just has pounds of ass on him that's
Yeah.
just going to sit there and do it.
So in that situation, it wasn't just that it was a woman fighting a trans woman. It was that this trans woman was so overmatched to her.
Correct.
They shouldn't have allowed that fight. And now I don't remember what the names of the athletes were,
can't either.
but ultimately she's going to have lifelong lasting issues.
Oh
from
yeah,
this.
it's over. It's over. She can never fight again.
She destroyed her. Like, it was like,
It's like one of those things you see on TV and you're like, oh my god, like I can't even believe I'm watching this type thing. Like,
But like that situation could happen if, like you said, if you took Brock Lesnar versus Conor McGregor. I mean, that is a situation that could potentially happen. Is if Lesnar can get a hold of his head, he's going to start beating it till the.
correct.
Well,
but
what happens
it's no situation where two born girls have come to the same conclusion at the end of a fight. Like that's
Yeah.
never happened.
No.
Like how many knees they throw, no matter how many elbows they throw, you never heard about smashing of some skulls.
Yeah, but I haven't seen that in the males. I haven't seen that in the
No.
men's UFC either.
Well, you're not gonna see it in males because we're built tougher. Like you know what I mean. So like our jawbones are stronger. We can withstand more of a punch.
Is that true?
Yeah, this is all facts.
well,
I think we're all-
males are just built bigger. I mean,
Yeah, muscle
Muscle mass.
and things like that. Yeah, men are definitely.
and it has a
larger.
lot to do with testosterone. Do you check the regimen of the fighters all the time? Like, you're pumping estrogen, and you're not checking genitals. That's such a violation of privacy.
yeah.
Like, but is that what it is? Do you have to measure now, like you would doping and shit? Like, do you have to measure estrogen
I
takes?
mean, hey,
If it's gonna be a
why not?
sport where the potential of life lasting harm could
Injuries.
come to somebody,
Yeah.
then yeah. I mean, look, the NFL tests for everything.
everything.
And the
Baseball tests
Yeah.
for everything.
In the NBA, they don't test for weed no more.
The UFC, I think one of the reasons that the UFC doesn't test like they probably should.
I don't think that was a UFC fight though either.
I thought it was a. I thought
It was probably like a Bellator or something.
Was it? Okay. Well, regardless, I don't
They
think
shouldn't allow it.
I don't think that they test for the big things because I don't think they care.
Well, and we also live in a fucking society with professional slapping.
I saw the way they
Correct.
promoted.
Did you see this? Did you see the ass slapping competition they have going on now? Like,
Really?
you know, like how they smack people in the face. They have the ass version of that now.
I could probably win that.
You gonna slap some ass?
No,
No,
get
he'd probably
slapped.
take it. He means taking it.
I've been beat so
You
bad
mean-
in
yeah.
my fucking childhood.
You're right. My grandma prepared me for this a long time ago.
let me just go over this real quick. So this Missouri House bill was filed by State Representative Jamie Berger. A Benton Republican who would it would prohibit transgender girls grades 6 and up from competing in women's sports in public and charter schools. It would also ban transgender women from competing in public and private college sports. This is in Missouri. Biological males are bigger, they are stronger, they are faster, Berger said on the floor this past Monday. The majority of women simply cannot compete. This is the right thing to do.
I don't disagree with her, man.
You get those 12-year-old girls out there with some 10-year-old boys, they could do some damage.
I played rec ball with
girls
that were just as good.
100%.
Well, and the thing is too, this isn't.
But you weren't beating. Y'all weren't beating. Y'all weren't fighting. Y'all, it wasn't nothing physical. You know what I mean?
Well, this is too like this.
Like you probably played t-ball with girls. You probably played soccer with girls. You probably played basketball with girls.
Yep.
All the sports that aren't that physical.
So, but what difference would it have made if one of those girls was a male that had transitioned?
What if it's
said, hold on. Say that one more time.
So in the realm of our children playing in co-ed sports, what difference does it make if one of the children that's playing with your child
with the sports I just named?
Yeah.
Nothing, because those sports are equal.
Co-ed.
Like a girl can play baseball, a girl can play basketball if she's good enough. And a girl can also play like tennis or also golf or different things. But when it comes to contact sports, as far as like football, UFC, I'm gonna say hockey, I'm gonna say swimming as well, only because it's not fair for a guy to been placed 60th out of all the guys, and then he comes to the girls and he's number one. Like, that's not fair.
Let me ask you this. I don't think that'll stop shit.
I don't.
You don't think it'll stop anything?
No.
Why do I have to tell you?
The only thing that's going to stop it is
if the schools allow it, they allow it.
You don't have to. What are they going to do? Come up to every girl that looks a little manly and go like,
Yeah, they're going to test.
I don't know.
So that's part of the issue is that if there is a law in place, or if there is a school rule or policy in place, that basically those schools or whatever invoking that law can then terrorize these individuals, even if they are women that are just women. They have now the ability to basically terrorize them and test them over and over.
They don't even got to test them. They'll probably
they do.
What I'm saying, they'll probably get to the point where at every game or every event that's happening, the birth certificate has to be shown.
But
dude, the people will part like the Red fucking sea if I have to deal with any of that. I promise you, they will not want to deal with me, and no one should have to go through that.
You're gonna be Ken, the male Ken.
I'm gonna be Randy Marsh on fucking South Park.
So let me give you just some of these are 4 myths about trans athletes that have been debunked.
Okay.
The first myth: the participation of trans athletes hurts cis women. Which is, again, this has been debunked. Inclusion of trans athletes benefits literally everyone. There are statistics to show that in a situation where a trans athlete is playing on a women's team, a team game, a team sport, it brings that team up. The team competes. Many who oppose inclusion in trans athletes erroneously claim that allowing trans athletes to compete will harm cisgender women. This divide and conquer tactic gets it exactly wrong. Excluding women who are trans hurts all women. It invites gender policies that could subject any woman to invasive tests or accusations of being too masculine or too good at their sport and to be a real woman. In Idaho, the ACLU currently represents 2 women who, one trans, one cis, both of whom are hurt by the law that was passed targeting trans athletes, because it gives them again another opportunity to basically call women out for being good.
All right.
Further this myth and reinforces stereotypes that women are weak and in need of protection. So the second one, trans athletes psychological characteristics provide an unfair advantage over cis athletes. This is also debunked. Trans athletes do not have an unfair advantage in sports. Women and girls who are trans face discrimination and violence that makes it difficult to even stay in school. According to the U.S. Trans Survey, 22% of trans women who were perceived as trans in school were harassed so badly that they had to leave school because of it. Another 10% were kicked out of school. The idea that women and girls have an advantage because they are trans ignores the actual conditions of their lives completely. Another one, sex is binary at birth and identifiable through singular biological characteristics. also debunked. The human brain is complex. The human body is complex. So fact is, trans women are women. Girls who are trans are told repeatedly that they are not real. Girls and boys who are trans are also told that they are not real boys. Non-binary people are told that their gender is not real and that they must either be a boy or a girl, and that none of these statements are true. Trans people are actually exactly who they say they are. And the last myth is that trans students need separate teams. Trans people, the fact is that trans people belong on the same team as other students. This is studies that have been done, and excluding trans people from any space or activity is harmful, particularly to the trans youth. A trans high school student, for example, may experience detrimental effects to their physical and emotional well-being when they are pushed out of their affirming spaces and communities. So, I respect the idea that it has an emotional response from us, but ultimately I have to fall under the line that if someone is trans, whether they were a male and transitioned to a female and wanted to compete, because the number of these people that are actually competing as athletes is very low. Like, not professionally, not in college. It's a very low number.
It's just the one that's going to be,
the one that can be made an example of.
Correct.
It's so
nobody's talking about the girl that transitioned and she sucks at sports. It's like, if you're good at sports,
the girl who plays the kicker for Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
And she scored a field goal. First woman athlete on a football team to do that.
Exactly.
I'm all about it.
Me too.
And if she can go out there and lay lumber, put her in a linebacker.
But both of y'all are girl dads. So how would y'all feel if say for instance your child is running track, and she's in first place, but then she gets passed, and the only person is a trans person? Do you feel bad when it happens? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, do you feel like your daughter was given a fair chance to compete?
Yes. And the reason I say that is, in that example, being track, that is something that women are also very good at.
Correct.
And regardless of, because
but the times are different.
The thing that I fear in this whole situation is the number of people that will claim that there are people that will transition just to achieve greatness. There are people that will
won't
transition.
even make
that don't even take the pills or anything.
There's a guy there was a UFC fighter who wanted to fight women who was just like, I'm a woman.
But the argument is that on the right is that there are men out there that will that are not the prime athlete, that are not the number one competitor in whatever sport, that they will transition to be women just so that they can be the number one in that. And
like the swimming athlete, I can't remember her name.
That to me is asinine. Yeah. I don't think that there's anyone out there that's going to put themselves through the physical, emotional, and the medications that have to be taken in order to make this happen, and the potential that surgery. Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone's going to take, and there's no one that's going to do that to themselves just to be number one. I just don't believe it.
Well, Bruce Jenner did it, and he became Woman of the Year.
Yeah, but but now she's an idiot who says really stupid things
and kills people with her car.
And so, like Bruce Jenner becoming what's her name now? Caitlyn. Bruce Jenner transitioning to become Caitlyn. I have the utmost respect for the decision that he made, because everyone that talked about it or talked about it in interviews after the fact all said the same thing. We always knew. They always knew. It wasn't necessarily that he wasn't doing it because he's gay. He wasn't doing it because he wanted to be he's 70, 60, whatever years old. Yeah. She's not gonna go and compete in anything. She did it because she wasn't comfortable as a man, and she was more comfortable as a woman, and had the means and the ability and the support to do it.
And I enjoy her humor about it too, because there was that one clip where she's going to go golf, and those guys who rag the golfers go, "Caitlyn, don't you just miss being able to whip your dick out and just piss by the bushes?" And she's like, "Who said that?"
Well, she still got
the humor about all of it.
I think she still has her dick though, and I think she
transitioned.
She did.
Yeah. She did surgery.
I thought she still had.
She got Kardashian.
I think she's still attracted to women too.
She's got Kardashian money. It's correct. But yeah, she is still attracted to women.
Correct.
So you know, it's she didn't do anything.
Now she's a lesbian.
Yeah,
Technically.
but that's her decision.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
but
it's her
I
decision.
guess so. That's
I
why
got nothing wrong with Caitlyn Jenner. I think
Me
she's
neither.
great.
I do.
Gold
I actually, the things I have with Caitlyn Jenner,
Well,
the things I have wrong with Caitlyn
murdering
Jenner,
car.
She might be our first trans president.
I'm not gonna
Trey,
have
shut the fuck.
She might.
Never
She
gonna
might.
happen. There's no way.
Never know.
There,
In this world we go, we
There-
all thought it was no way Donald Trump being president.
There are so many.
No, is that
We
sloppy
always
mouth
thought
turd.
that.
The only thing I can tell you for certain, there are so many closeted, hateful, prejudiced people in this country they would never vote for, ever.
Well, yeah.
And I
guess
don't
you got a
like.
point.
Again, it's nothing. I wouldn't have voted for her when she was Bruce Jenner.
Yeah.
Get the fuck
Yeah.
out of here.
Yeah, because Bruce Jenner was not the type of person that I would want to be. Bruce Jenner is exactly the same type of celebrity that I think Donald Trump is and has no business running for president. But
might
you know,
get in there, huh?
You take a lot of shit from a bunch of fucking Armenian whores.
All right. Well, you guys feel okay about this?
I feel good, man. You know what I'm saying? If we get canceled, we get canceled.
It's not my problem to solve, but it is my responsibility to accept and understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
We just want
ultimately-
to accept and understand, just like Zach said.
Yeah. So
Or at least to listen and understand.
Correct. And we just want we just don't want no UFC bloodbaths ever again.
Agreed.
If we can go without seeing that happen over again, I think everything else is cool. Like,
Yeah, you're gonna draw lines down on different sports. It's not our job to solve this. I don't think this fucking country's gonna solve this.
I don't think this one conversation is going to solve it either.
No,
No,
unfortunately
But we
not.
can try though.
But being open and honest and going, I don't fucking know,
Yep.
but I love you all. Like I just
Love you, man.
don't fucking
want
know.
the best for everybody.
I'm not gonna judge you for your gender, your sexuality, the color of your skin, the color of your hair, nothing.
Yeah.
If you're a decent human being, if you're a motherfucker, you're a motherfucker. I don't want nothing to do with you, and it has nothing to do with how you look.
Agreed.
Correct.
Agreed.
Thank you, Nick the Geek, engineer and producer, owner and operator of GOT Sound Studio. Check out details on how you can utilize his talent and production expertise at gotsoundstudio.com. Thanks to Muff the Producer. Follow him on Instagram at Muff the Producer. Thanks to Trent Clark, aka DJ Lonzo, currently serving as the house DJ at the main course in Columbia, South Carolina. Make sure to go by and have a good time. You can contact Trent for all your entertainment needs. Trent at theallaboutnothing.com and on Instagram at TheRealDJ Lonzo. On Twitter at DJ Lonzo Top 5. You can also phone him 803-262-7982. If you enjoy the show, consider becoming a patron by visiting our website and clicking at the link at the top of the browser that will take you to our Patreon page. You can find details on how you become a supporter, or you can check out benefits there and just consider a donation so that we can continue to bring you this nonsense. We enjoy doing it. We enjoy you enjoying it. As always, you can follow us on Facebook. Just search for All About Nothing US. On Twitter and Instagram at AAN_pod, or you can find links to all of our social media and available podcast platforms by visiting theallaboutnothing.com. If you'd like to be heard on the show, you may call and leave us a message, 803-672-0533. If the time between these episodes is too far apart, you can fill that time by checking out some of our partner podcasts. Zach and I host What the Pod Was That with Carrie Simmons. Visit whatthepodwasthat.com for links and details. Carrie and Chrissy host Status Macabre. You can find details at statusmacabre.com. Ami Bland takes a deep dive down the rabbit hole in episodes of Welcome to Wonderland, available on all of your podcast listening platforms. As well, you should check out our own DJ Lonzo's Top 5, hosted by Trent Clark, available on most of your podcast listening platforms.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate all the support. Special thanks to Paris LaFerris, Maurice, Garrett, and the Venue and the Revue for inviting us this past weekend, making us feel as welcome as possible. Also, make sure to nominate the All About Nothing podcast for Free Time's Best Local Podcasts for Best of Columbia 2023. Link is on our webpage. You can also nominate all the other shows that we have here, including DJ Lonzo's Top 5, Welcome to Wonderland, and What the Pod Was That. Maybe if you go a little further and join our growing list of patrons, head over to allaboutnothing.com, find a link at the top of the patron page, or go directly to patreon.com /the All About Nothing. While you're visiting our page, join our Discord server and join the conversation. Find the link at the top of our website. With that said, thank you very much for listening. Everybody stay safe and
Check out the review and have a week.
This The All About Nothing podcast is recorded live from the GOT Sound Studio in Columbia, South Carolina. The All About Nothing podcast is produced and engineered by Nick the Geek, owner and operator of GOT Sound Studio. To support the show, please visit theallaboutnothing.com for links to social media, merchandise, and more. Become a patron of the show by following the Patreon link at the top of our page. The All About Nothing podcast is an entertainment product of Beric Gruber. Special thanks to Zach King, Trent Clark, Muff the Producer, Nick the Geek, and you, our listeners. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share. If you're on YouTube, please hit the like button and the notification bell. Thank you for listening.
The All About Nothing podcast is a part of the GOT Podcast Network and a product of Barrett Gruber Entertainment and Media.